So I am pretty sure by now a lot of you guys have already seen Dragon Ball Super Episode 26 coming off of the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Goku battle against Golden Frieza, and of course for the most part a lot of you guys seem to be very upset with the animation that happened during the first debut episode of 2016. Now honestly speaking guys, I do believe that Dragon Ball Super thus far, and again mind you this is only my opinion, this is how I feel about the show, has showcased relatively decent animation with the best animation having to deal with Goku versus Beerus, but up until this point episode 26 I believe, showcased very awful animation. Now, I do believe that as things continue to progress, I think the entirety of the animation is going to improve, especially going into the Champa arc. Now, a lot of you guys seem to be, absolutely distraught by this. For me, personally, I would say animation isn't really that big of a deal, at least for me personally. I don't know how many others out there feel. Like I can't speak on behalf of everyone, but what I feel personally is that I don't really look at animation and I judge a show based on that alone. I personally look at the entire spectrum of the story, the characters, and what direction the entirety of the show is going in. Now, of course, Dragon Ball Super Episode 26 thus far has been proven to be different as opposed to its predecessor, the Resurrection F movie, with many changes involved. The 1-inch punch was missing. You had Sorbet, who was pretty much moving around behind the rocks. He was very noticeable as he attacked Goku. Goku powering down from his Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan form as he powered down back to his base form before he got beamed through the chest by Sorbet. There were several things that were, slightly different with Vegeta clapping with Frieza and stuff. There was just a lot of things that were different, and depending on how you look at it, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, most people will look at these changes as a good thing, some people will look at it as a bad thing, but needless to say, the animation. Now, the animation, once I came across this episode, guys, I'll be honest, my expectations for the very first episode of 2016 was for it to have good animation and whatnot, and for the most part, there were certain shots that were really, really good, and then for the most part, like, again, as I said in my review, there were certain scenes where I just really wasn't feeling that well, but again, it doesn't really bother me as much anymore because I know that Toei Animation is trying to get by with the movies and stuff, especially leading into the Champa arc, the Universal God Tournament, which is going to be very awesome. But my overall thoughts on the animation that happened during Dragon Ball Z Episode 26 was the fact that I understand sometimes, you do have a very short amount of time to get an episode done and whatnot, given the fact that they only have about 6 days to get everything done and over with and just, corrected and fixed. The DVDs have proven to have changes, as we saw with Episode 5 from the show, as opposed to the Blu-ray DVD copy, to where they changed the entirety of the animation in there. So I do believe when the Blu-ray drops for Dragon Ball Super, I personally believe for myself that they're going to improve the animation. Like whatever we saw that was pretty much flawed in this episode or any other episode, they're going to go on ahead and correct and fix in the Blu-ray copies, because that's exactly what they did with the first DVD and whatnot. So again, you can't really give Toei Animation that much heat, because again, like, can you imagine how hard it is to animate these things in such a short period? Like, you have to just put yourselves in their shoes essentially, because they're being told we have to keep producing these episodes week after week and whatnot, and sometimes you don't really have enough time to do anything else throughout your day, but you have to focus more on getting this episode out. And sometimes creators and staff direction, they all shift and focus when it comes to that, because they have to get everything out within like a certain time frame and whatnot. So it's very stressful, I'm sure of that. I myself, I'm not an animator, so I wouldn't know what it's like. I can imagine just sitting there every single day just trying to get by with all these animations, just producing episode week after week after week, and just getting everything down to the T and whatnot. I'm sure it's not easy, but can they do better? Absolutely. I mean, if you go back and you watch the Dragon Ball movies like Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, and you go back and you watch the show, you can't really compare those, because again, movies have a higher budget than regular TV shows do. So obviously Battle of Gods and Resurrection F had more of a budget, backing them up, as opposed to the Dragon Ball Super show. So let me know your overall thoughts and opinions on the animation thus far. Do you guys believe it is going to improve and get better, or do you guys think it's going to continue going the way it is today? And what do you guys feel about essentially what's going to happen with the future of Dragon Ball? I mean, how do you guys think the entirety of the show is going to go? And I would like to know from your overall standpoints, like, what are your thoughts on Dragon Ball Super as compared to Dragon Ball GT? Because I know a lot of people want to compare those, just because Toei Animation helped out with Dragon Ball GT and whatnot, and a lot of people are saying, oh well, GT didn't have bad animation, so why does Super and whatnot? So I would love to know your overall standpoints on that. And once again, guys, thank you all for watching. If you guys are Dragon Ball fans, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That way you guys don't miss out a single episode. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to smash that like button. Leave your overall thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Again, the animation, it's such a rinky-dink thing to talk about, because again, there are animations out out there, and animes I should say, that have very good animation, and then there are other shows out there that have terrible animation. So again, I mean, depending on how you look at it, whether you guys care more about the animation than the story, or if you guys care about story more than animation, that all depends on, like, you know, like what your flavor of the month kind of is. If you guys are leaning more towards animation than anything else, if that really bothers you, I would like to know, like, what about it does it really bother you? Because again, there were certain people in the comments that were just like, I am completely done with Dragon Ball Super just because of the animation. I don't care about story. All I care about is the way the, you know, actual show functions and stuff. So I would like to know if you guys can relate to that, or if you guys care about more about what's going on with the characters and stuff. Let me know down below, guys. Once again, thank you all for watching. Tune in for the next update, and I'll be seeing you all later, guys. Take it easy. Peace.